Welcome to Chamber Chat. I'm Deb Height. Chamber Chat today is brought to you by Mansmith's Pharmacy. Today we're visiting with Pastor Nicholas Thackery of St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Welcome, Pastor.
Thanks, Deb. It's good to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. I hear there's a big event coming up here just on the calendar. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, there's a really big event coming up on August 21st. We're celebrating St. Paul's 100th anniversary in Emmitsburg. So really big event, really exciting.
It is exciting. Well, so when did the Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod, impact Emmitsburg?
It was 1898 that the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod finally started here in Emmitsburg. A lot of times in different areas where the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod came to, you would have circuit riders. But it wasn't that way for here in Emmitsburg. In Emmitsburg, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod started a preaching station. And the preaching station was held usually in different homes at the very beginning. And then different pastors, local pastors, from West Bend or Fenton, Algona, stuff like that, they would come up here and then provide their services at these different preaching stations in Emmitsburg. Now, the thing is that, or the really interesting is that not always every Sunday would they be able to have a pastor up here because they weren't from Emmitsburg at that point. And so if there's baptisms, or something special, they would have to hold off until a pastor says, okay, I'm coming up to Emmitsburg, and then they would do all that kind of stuff in one shot.
Wow. So when did St. Paul's Lutheran Church formally organize then?
They were formally organized on December 24th, 1911.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. and that kind of took us, too, when we heard the date or when we found the date. Don't know if it was deliberate or if maybe December 24th fell on a Sunday that year. Hard to say, but December 24th, 1911.
That's really cool.
It is cool.
Okay. So when did St. Paul's get their own house of worship?
They got their own house of worship in 1937. A church, or I should say a building, was brought down from Vernon Township into Emmitsburg, which actually sat on 11th and Palmer. Of course, that right now what's there is a apartment house, and so we went to see the same building today. But that's where the first church stood, 11th and Palmer.
So before St. Paul's had their own place of worship, where did they gather?
Well, like I mentioned in the beginning, the preaching stations did start in different homes and stuff like that. The congregation did use Bethany Lutheran Church for a period of time, and then also the Free Methodist Church. The congregation held services there, and interestingly enough, we paid $1 rent per Sunday to use the Free Methodist Church. And the $1 covered the fuel for the heat, the lights, everything. So wow. Maybe a little different than what it would cost today.
No kidding. When did St. Paul dedicate their present house of worship?
Well, the first house of worship, the one that on the 11th and Palmer, was dedicated in 1937 when it came down right away from Vernon Township because, it didn't have to be built. They just moved it down. Now, with the present church on 805 Harrison, it started being built in 1955, and then it was dedicated in 1957. So kind of ironically, exactly 20 years in between the two dedications.
Wow. So how many pastors has St. Paul's had since it's formally organized?
Yeah, since 1935, we have had 9 residential pastors, and that is including myself. So 1935 to present, we've had 9 pastors. Now, that doesn't include our interim pastors or vacancy pastors that we've had fill in throughout the years. But as for pastors who've actually lived in Emmitsburg and been the ordained pastor of St. Paul Lutheran Church, 9 of them.
9.
So.
Awesome. Okay, what was the organizational structure of St. Paul's Lutheran Church?
Yeah, this can get a little deep. The thing to remember about St. Paul Lutheran Church and the congregation is that the power always relies in the congregation with the people because that's where the Word of God lies, in the congregation with the people. Whereas, there are other organized church bodies where they have a hierarchy, then we have a monarchy. Okay. So St. Paul Lutheran Church is a member of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Right? They are an independent congregation that affiliate themselves with the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, as is every other church in the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Now, within the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, across the board, in every state, they divide the state into districts, right? Because if you just have the whole state as one, well, that's a lot of churches to handle all in one shot. And so they divide each state into districts depending on the size of the state. So with Iowa, we actually have just two districts. We have Iowa District East and we have Iowa District West. So St. Paul Lutheran Church is in Iowa District West. But the main thing always to remember about the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm re-stressing the point that the power lies in the congregation. And I think that's really important. And so when the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, if they decide to change something in their bylaws or their laws or regulations or whatnot, each congregation votes on it. And then that vote is put into our big convention that they have every other year. And then how the votes come out then is decided on whether that regulation is added or removed or changed or whatnot. So I think that's really cool about our church body, is that the power lies with the people.
With the people in the church. Yeah, that's great. The church has a big celebration coming up in the next week. Tell us what is exactly planned for August 21st.
Yeah, August 21st is going to be a huge day. And we're going to start out at 10 a.m. with our normal divine worship service. Of course, it's going to be a little bit more than our normal everyday Sunday. Pastor McLaughlin, who is a former pastor at St. Paul's, is going to be our guest preacher that day. And I will be leading the liturgy. We'll have, I think we have 6 or 7 former pastors that are going to be here, so it's going to be really good, and their families. We have a massive choir that's going to be enlightening our service that day. So it's going to be a great worship service. I'm very excited about it. We're looking at already over 200 people for that service, and so I just think that's awesome. And after the service then, we are having a catered dinner for those at the service. And then following that catered dinner, about 1:30, we're going back into the sanctuary where we're going to have more of an informal service. And that's a service that we're inviting all the public to, Emmitsburg and the surrounding area. It's going to be more of a hymn fest, a song fest. And then in between each of the hymns or the songs, we have the former pastors who are going to get a chance to get up and kind of reminisce and give thoughts about St. Paul's and God's Word. And then also we're going to give the public a chance. If they want to get up and take 5 minutes to say something on St. Paul's, something they remember, maybe from their childhood or something like that, Vacation Bible School or Christmas or what it may be. And then following that, then we go back out and back into the fellowship hall for a reception, and that should wrap us up for that day. So, I mean, it's going to be a big day, an exciting, a fun day.
It sounds like it will be.
Yeah.
With so many pastors returning, people have relationships with those people
from
over the years. It's always great to go back
absolutely
and see how they're doing. That's wonderful. So when did your anniversary preparation start?
They started November 2010. That was when the anniversary committee first met and started their planning for August 21st and some of the other different events. So
of course, everything that goes off big like that takes some.
Oh, absolutely. And it's better to get it done as much ahead of time than scrambling right at the very last minute. So
that's right. Well, you said that your actual church started on December 24th. Why did you choose August 21st to celebrate?
Well, of course, it being Christmas Eve, families travel or come in, and they got a lot of things going on too. Of course, December 24th, we also are looking at winter. So the weather kind of played a factor in there. It wasn't too bad this last year, but I know 2 years ago, we had over 30 inches over that week of Christmas. So you never know when that could happen.
That's true.
And then the other thing is, come September, harvest will be going on, and kids are back in school and so forth. And so we thought, if we wanted the best turnout possible, maybe try to get it done a little earlier. So that's why we chose August 21st, and hopefully that we can get as many people there as possible.
I hope so too. Have you had any prior events leading up to this Sunday?
Oh, we have. We start out in May with our kickoff for the anniversary. We had a potluck, and then we, of course, let go 100 balloons, which I think most people saw that picture in the paper.
Right.
So, which actually within each of those balloons we had a tag, or I should say, maybe it was on the outside of the balloon. We had a tag that said St. Paul Lutheran Church 100th anniversary, and gave them the information, email and phone to call if they found it. And we actually had two balloons that were called back in that were found. One was, I believe, in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah, I made quite a ways.
That's quite a ways.
And then the other one was up in northeast Iowa somewhere. I can't remember the exact name of the town, but up in northeast Iowa. So.
Wow, that surprises me. I thought you were going to say cylinder.
Yeah, right.
I didn't realize they would go that far.
So, and then we also, a few weeks later, we had a showing of a historical slideshow Lois Anger has put together with the help of the anniversary committee. We've had such great people helping on this. I know that they've taken a lot of stress off me, and I know other people in getting together and doing this. But Lois Anger has put together with a lot of the pictures a slideshow of the history of the church over the last 100 years, and it's fantastic. Music to it and everything. So we viewed that on a Sunday, and then we had a pie auction that went over very well. Of course, the proceeds went to the anniversary committee, and the big celebration is coming up on August 21st.
So did you make a pie?
Michelle made a pie.
I thought maybe you did.
No. And then and then recently, July 31st, we had a outdoor service at Harrison Park.
Oh, fun.
Yep, and then we had a big pancake feed to follow, which great turnout. I think if I remember correctly, we had 95 people there. So really good turnout. It was a lot of fun. Even though we did have it over time when we were having this hot and humid weather, we did have it early enough in the morning that it wasn't too bad yet. So yeah, we've had a number of events leading up to this point. So,
well, if you're going to have a party, you might as well have a party all year,
absolutely.
Right? That's what I think. Anyway, so are there any events planned following the 21st and up to December 24th?
Yeah, the committee is working on a few things. Nothing definite been put into place yet, but we are definitely, because even though we don't want to take anything away from August 21st, I mean, it's going to be a huge day and a fun day, but we also don't want that to stop it either, because we still got a few more months to go, and then we actually have our actual anniversary date on December 24th. So we kind of want to keep the excitement going up to December 24th.
Well, Pastor, we're thankful that you came in today. It was nice to meet you. And
yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And we wish you lots of success for your event.
Thank you.
It should be a really good time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Those reunions are always great.
A lot of fun.
You bet. And we thank you for joining us today. This has been Chamber Chat, brought to you by Mansmith's Pharmacy, where your care is their only concern. Thank you.
This has been Chamber Chat on Chamber Channel 3. Chamber Chat has been brought to you by Mansmith Pharmacy.